This message is from John Mello, April 17th of 21 at 8:39. It states, "Dollar burner phone, buy cheap, a store." I interpret that he's telling him to buy a cheap burner phone from a store. He then states, "Haha, something else, no for." And then he states, "Message, ignore that last," shortly after. Then Mr. Mello again states, "Burner pay get will I a but."
What do you interpret that as?
It looks like he's saying he'll pay for the burner phone.
Now, what do people use a burner phone for?
A lot of people use, in my training experience, they use burner phones when they don't want, what's on their actual phone to come out. A lot of it's used in a lot of drug deals. It's just a cheap phone that people can get. They're not associated with that number, and they can toss it when they're finished with it. This is Mr. Mello. He sends another JPEG image to Zachary Hughes. Again, we don't know what the image is. But with that image, he sends a message, and it states, "My Christina, I daughters present mother, JPEG, gentlemen and ladies, parcel." I interpret that as, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present Christina's mother."
And then, is there a second?
There's a second image. It's another unknown JPEG image.
And what about that?
At 8:18 p.m., the message states, "Warren Escort, Caroline, aka Sweet." And that's relevant in this investigation because, as you saw from some of the items that were in these packages that were mailed out, Caroline Warren's name, the name Caroline Warren was on there. This is from Mr. Mello to Mr. Hughes on May 23rd, 2021 at 2:13 p.m. Just states no. The following message is the following day, May 24th at 3:42 a.m. It states, "Part the is writing its best." A few hours later at 8:15, Mello states, "Listen should make that you from today, Greenville, thinking I'm." And then a couple minutes later, he sends a message that says mail.
Why did that grab your attention?
Well, that grabbed my attention because he's talking about mailing things from the Greenville area. And I know that,
Potentially?
right, potentially. And I know that we've got these, I know about these letters that have been sent out. So it piqued my interest. Mello states on the same date at 8:17 a.m. an outside mailbox.
And then does Zach Hughes respond?
Yes, sir. Zach Hughes responds at 8:18 a.m., says, "All right." He follows that up with a message, and it reads, "I'm riding bike my way that." I interpret that as I'm riding my bike that way. And then right after that, he states, the message says, "B want camera on truck." The truck won't be on camera. A minute later, it says, "Time you post downtown 27. He has even our postman. It made camera 2 gets by office if on stops thee." I know that he's talking about a postman and he's talking about a camera. He then states, from come it anywhere would. I look at that and see it could come from anywhere.
And then what does Zach Hughes say?
At 8:24 a.m., it states, bought gray baseball yesterday, a nondescript cap.
So as far as your investigation is concerned, how did you interpret that?
With these last few messages, they're obviously trying to conceal identity, trying to keep out of view of cameras that may be nearby.
And these are all from Mr. Mello?
Yes, sir. We're still in blue. Mr. Mello at 8:26. This message says, buying the U online or postage. I think he's saying, he's asking, are you buying the postage online? We're May 24th of 21. This is at 9:07 a.m. It's the next message John Mello sends, and it says, to ruin going their weekend. Going to ruin their weekend.
Who do you think there is referring to?
I think there is referring to Miss Parcell and everybody that received those letters. October 13th, 2021 at 2:52 p.m., John Mello sends Zach Hughes a message, and it reads, that did research on music, how go?
And that's October 13th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
And what did he respond?
At 2:53 p.m., the message reads, phone over, tell you good, the I'll.
How do you interpret that?
Good, I'll tell you over the phone. And Mr. Mello responds with, cool.
Is that the last WhatsApp that was ever recovered?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall Investigator Perry's testimony about how long the conversation they had in the afternoon of the 13th?
I do.
How long was that?
I believe it was about an hour and 20 minutes.
What did you interpret that music research as?
I don't believe it was really music research. I believe John Mello sent a message to Zach Hughes in code.
His interpretation of what it wants to say.
All right. So, Investigator Sparkman, did you also review the Gmails between John Mello and Zachary Hughes?
Yes, sir.
187. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is an image that was recovered from Zachary Hughes's cell phone.
Was it recovered from what area of his cell phone?
His photos.
So would it be a snap or a screenshot, I guess is what they call it?
Yes, this appears to be a screenshot of an image that was recovered from Zach's photos.
State moves 187 into evidence.
The date on this image is June 23rd of 2021 that the reports showed for this image. But this is an image of a message conversation where someone sends the address of 122 Canebrake Drive, Greer, South Carolina, 29650 to, if you pull it down just a little bit for me, the opposite way. So this is a conversation involving John Mello.
All right, and why is a snapshot of that address important?
Because now John Mello knows where Christina lives.
And if John Mello knows where Christina lives, who else knows?
Zach Hughes. These are email communications between Zach Hughes and John Mello.
In those emails, as between Zach Hughes and John Mello, is Zach Hughes either what I'll call CC'd or blind copied on emails from John Mello to various family court attorneys?
Yes, there are a lot of those emails that John Mello sends to attorneys or other people regarding the child custody dispute. Zach Hughes is either CC'd on them or blind copied on them.
All right. Are there emails where Zach Hughes assists John Mello in writing emails or maybe papers regarding the child custody dispute, or corrects or edits some of that information regarding the child custody dispute for John Mello?
There are.
Are there emails where Zach Hughes are there emails where John Mello tells the family court attorney that Zach Hughes is allowed to communicate with the attorney?
Yes.
And that is regarding the child custody case over he and Christina Parcells' daughter.
Yes, sir.
And are there emails where Zach Hughes himself is communicating directly with John Mello's family court attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are there instances where Zach Hughes is running errands or doing things in furtherance of the child custody
Yes, sir.
dispute? And are there emails between Zach Hughes and John Mello discussing the child custody case?
There are lots of them.
Okay. And what are those saying?
They're just talking about the situation. Mr. Mello's getting frustrated. You could tell he's getting frustrated based on words that he uses. Going to different attorneys. John Mello's talking about how he's getting frustrated with attorney A, and that we need to reach out to a different attorney.
And are a lot of these? I know they started in when they began in October,
August.
From around April to October 13th, that time frame. Would that be the time frame when was given custody to Christina Parcells and they moved back to South Carolina?
Yes, sir.
In that time frame, were there a lot of those emails regarding the custody dispute?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that Zach Hughes was well aware of the custody dispute between Christina Parcells and John Mello?
Yes, sir.
And finally, were the emails, communications between Zach Hughes and John Mello, were they caring for each other?
Yes.
In what way?
There's messages in there where one tells the other they love them. The other one will say, love you back.
So going back to the emails real briefly, Investigator Sparkman, based on those emails, is it fair to say that John Mello was fighting hard for custody of his daughter?
Yes, sir.
And Zach was fully aware of what was going on?
Yes.
What is the one clear way that John Mello could be assured that he would get custody of his daughter?
By making sure that Christina Parcells was dead.
Now, briefly, did you establish a timeline of sort of events based on this entire investigation
Yes, sir.
that were important events? And before you did that, did you also look at the phone and to Zach Hughes's phone regarding airplane mode?
I did.
And were you able to determine if you'd ever put it out of airplane mode on October 13th?
Yes, sir. I did.
And what were the two times in which it came out of airplane mode?
At 2:22 p.m. and at 2:32 p.m.
All right. And why am I saying out of airplane mode?
Because I don't believe the extractions show when the phone is put into airplane mode, only when it comes out of airplane mode.
All right. So I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 191. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Did you assist in preparing this?
Yes.
And what is it?
This is a timeline of the locations of Zachary Hughes beginning on October 11th through October 13th.
And what information is this based on?
This is based on a combination of things: device location from his phone, witnesses, device location, a trail cam that was introduced Ring doorbell cameras, flock cameras, just different events that were pulled from Mr. Hughes's phone that had a location with it.
All of those are in evidence.
Yes, sir.
I'm just get you to briefly go through this with the jury. Mr. Sparkman, investigator, if you want to step down right here, if you want, you speak loud so that you can see.
Yes, sir. So the first day on here is October 11th, and this timeline shows that between 10:05 and 10:56 a.m., it shows where the trail cam captured Zachary Hughes at 799 Eating Flats Trail, the Mountain House. It shows on October the 12th at 1:07 p.m. his phone put him at 200 Tyndall. At 1:18 p.m. his phone puts him at John Mello's house. From 6:56 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. his phone puts him back at the Mountain House. At 4:30 a.m., it shows that his phone was plugged in or unlocked. The same at 7:42 a.m. From 7:42 a.m. to 11:34 a.m., there's no activity on his phone. At 8:15 a.m., this is when Donna Gorman identifies Zach Hughes. At 9:15 a.m., you see the Ring camera from across the street of the incident location showing the suspect going into the front door. At 9:27 a.m., 133 Canebrake Drive captures the suspect leading on a bicycle. At 9:28 a.m., 207 Saratoga Drive captures the suspect leading on a bicycle. At 1:17 p.m., same day, still on the same day, Zach Hughes' phone connects to the Wi-Fi at the Mountain House. At 1:48 p.m. and 2:22 p.m., as I stated earlier, his phone comes out of airplane mode. At 2:32 p.m., that's when the flock camera shows the bicycle in the back of his truck at Rutherford and Bumper. And that is in the direction that is coming from the Travelers Rest area back towards downtown. So that would be coming from the Mountain House back towards the city limits, back towards near where he or Mello live. 2:42, his device location puts him at 200 Tyndall, where he's residing. At 4:23 p.m., there's some location data from Schedule Fly on his phone. I believe Schedule Fly is how he signs up for work. At 6:16 p.m., his phone data puts him at 103 North Main Street. At 7:30 p.m., he's captured on flock camera. His vehicle is captured on flock camera, the Ford Ranger, at Lawrence in Washington. That's in Greenville city limits. And at 7:15 p.m., at an unknown location, he has a 120-minute phone call with John Mello.
That's all the state has for this witness.